Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Thumma amma ba'd. So, as we mentioned, we are going to study the book Al-Ajroomiyah, and the goal of this course is to make it as simple as possible, but yet again, not miss the important concepts that are here. So, we are going to take line by line, and we are going to understand each and every words, inshallah, bi'idhnillah. So the muallif, the author of the book, rahimahullah, he starts with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And I won't be explaining in great details or in any details about Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, its i'rab and things like that. Inshallah, that will be for some other sessions, bi'idhnillah. So in the beginning, he says, Al-Kalamu huwa al-lafdhu al-murakkabu al-mufidu bil-wad'i. So he says, Al-Kalam, it is al-lafdh, and it is al-murakkab, and it is something that is al-mufid, and it is bil-wad'i. Now let's understand all of them one by one. So firstly, he says al-kalamu, he says kalam, which is speech. So he says speech is huwa al-lafdhu, it is something that is an utterance, huwa al-lafdhu, al-murakkab, it is something that is composite, okay, and it is something al-mufid, it is something that is beneficial, and then it is something bil-wad'i, that is it is upon established rules, which means it is set by the Arabs, okay. So al-kalam, it is a love, it is an utterance, it is something that is al-murakkab, which is composite, al-mufid, which is beneficial, and it is bil-wad'i, yani it is set by the Arabs upon established rules. We are going to understand that very soon, okay. So firstly, we need to understand that the word kalam, it has two meanings. The first meaning is in the language, and the second meaning is in the science of grammar, okay. So this is something that happens throughout in different sciences as well. Like for example, the word sunnah, in the science of seerah or hadith, sunnah means anything and everything that the Prophet did and he said and he approved of, or his silent approval, things like that. Everything that he did, speech, action, everything. But the word sunnah in the subject of fiqh means when you do it, you will be rewarded, but if you don't do it, you will not be sin. Okay? You will not be sinning. So in the same way, the word kalam, in the language, it has one meaning, and in the science of grammar, it has some different meaning, okay? So in the language, linguistically, kalam, it is whatever you get a benefit from, okay? Because of whether it is an utterance or not. For example, if it's a writing or a drawing or pointing, all of this in the language, yani linguistically, kalam means anything through which we achieve a benefit. So for example, if I tell you, this is also kalam. Even if I'm nodding like this is also kalam. This is also kalam. This is also, if I say, this is also kalam in linguistically, okay? Or if I write something, say for example, I wrote my name and I show you like this. This is also kalam, okay? Anything through which benefit is sought, okay? If I say, this is also kalam. طيب. As for in the sense of grammar, kalam means four things which is mentioned over here. It is something that is an utterance, al-lafz, which is al-murakkab, it is composite, and then it is al-mufid, yani it must be beneficial, and it is bil-wad'i, it must be said in the Arab way, or said by the Arabs, okay? Now let's look into all of them one by one, all right? So let's see the first one. Huwa al-lafz, it is utterance. What does it mean? It must be an utterance. Yani it must be a sound that comes from, or it must be a sound that contains some of the alphabetical letters, yani alif to ya. So some examples are Sa'idun or Ahmed or Yaktubu. So each of this, when pronounced, is a sound that contains four letters from the series of alphabets that we have, alif to ya. But pointing, for example, is not called kalam, pointing, if I just do just pointing, it is not kalam, speech, according to the grammarians, because it does not have sound. Even if it is called speech by the linguistic scholars, because of the benefit that is achieved through it, you cannot call it kalam in the subject of Arabic grammar. Okay, so it must be utterance, it must be a sound, okay, that contains some of the alphabetical letters alif to ya. So I hope that makes sense. Huwa lafzu. Next, al-murakkab. Now, what does al-murakkab means? It means it must be composite. Yani, it must be composed of two or more words. Okay, two words or more. For example, if I say Muhammadun musafirun, Muhammad is a traveler. If I say al-ilmu khayru ma tas'a ilayh, knowledge is the best that you pursue. All right. So each of these expressions is called speech, al-kalam, and each of them is composed of two or more words. As a single word is not called speech, it's not called kalam by the grammarians unless something else comes with it. Now, what does this something else mean? This something else can be actual, as in the previous examples. Yani, in these examples, the word Muhammad, after it came Musafirun. The word Al-Ilmu, after it came one, two, three, four words. It can be something like this, which is actually coming, so that is the something else. It can also be something that is implied. For example, if someone tells you, who is your brother? Someone asks you, who is your brother? And you say, Muhammad. So you're just saying one word. Now, would we say, just by saying Muhammad, is this kalam? Because for it to be kalam, it must match four conditions. The first one was it must be al-lafz, which is utterance. Muhammad is an utterance. Number two, it must be composite. It must be al-murakkab. Is it al-murakkab? The answer is yes. Even though when someone asks me, who is your brother, I just say Muhammad, which is one word, but still this is considered as kalam, speech, because the implied meaning is Muhammadun akhi. Muhammad is my brother. So it is by implication three words. Hence, this is also a kalam. All right. Next, what do we have? We have al-mufid. So for something to be kalam, according to the grammarians, number one, it must be al-lafz, which we covered. It must be al-murakkab, we covered it. It must be al-mufid. Yani, it must be beneficial. What do we mean by that? It is appropriate for the speaker to pause such that the listener is not waiting for something else. So if I were to say, إِذَا حَضَرَ الْأُسْتَاذ, or if I were to say, when the teacher comes, and then I'm quiet, I don't say anything, will you not be waiting and thinking? And what happens if the teacher comes? Is it okay? Is it appropriate for me to say this and be quiet? And will it be sufficient? No. Then this is not considered speech in Arabic, yani in terms of grammar. So if I were to say, إِذَا حَضَرَ الْأُسْتَاذُ أَنْصَتَ التَّلَامِيذ, when the teacher comes, the students listen. Now this becomes speech through attaining full benefit. Yani, simple. Al-Mufid means this sentence that you're saying, after you finish saying it, if you are quiet, it suffices. If the answer is yes, it suffices, it is al-mufid. If the answer is no, someone is expecting you to tell more, then this is not al-mufid, hence it will not be kalam. Alright? So this is the third condition. Fourthly, it must be bil wad'i. So it must be set in the Arab way. Yani it must be the Arabs who have said it. Okay? So the words that are included in the speech are from the utterances that the Arabs have said for a specific meaning. For example, the word hadara is a word that the Arabs have said for a meaning, the occurrence of presence in the past tense. Okay? So the Arabs have said the word Muhammadun for a meaning, which is the entity of the person who named by this name, of the person who named by this name. So if you say Hadara Muhammadun, it includes two words, and each of which is from what the Arabs have set down. Both of the words are Arabi words. On the contrary, if you speak with speech from what the non-Arabs have put down, such as Persian, Turkish, or European language, or anything like that, then this is not called speech, kalam, according to the scholars of Arabic grammar, even if people of other languages call it that. So, for example, this whole class, I'm taking it in English. According to the Arabic grammar, my conversation, the sound that is coming out through my mouth, is not considered kalam. Why? Because it is not bil wada'i. It is love, it is utterance, it is murakkab. I'm making complete sentences. It is mufid, it is beneficial. After I say something, I complete the sentence and I'm quiet, it's beneficial. But it's not bil wada'i. Okay? So with that, we finish today's class. So if we go to the first slide, we covered this line from the book, Al-Kalamu. Kalam is, according to the grammarians, هو اللفظ المركب المفيد بالوضع. It must be something that is utterance, sound, not pointing or writing. It must be something that is composite, made up of two or more words. It must be something that is al-mufid, and it must be beneficial, and it must be a complete sentence. If I say it and I'm quiet, if it's okay, if I'm quiet, it conveys a complete meaning, it is mufid. If I say it and I'm quiet and it does not convey a complete meaning and someone is waiting for something more, then this is not al-mufid. Fourthly, it must be bil wada'i. It must be said by the Arabs. Okay? So that's all for today. Again, as we mentioned, the goal of this course is taking small steps to understand a very important book, bi'idhnillah. If there's anything that I've said wrong, it's from me and shaitan. Allah's messenger is free from it. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.